You know what? I love my AR-15. You know, I bought my first AR-15 when I was 18 years old. So what is that? I'm 54 now. 30 years, maybe 48, 36 years ago I bought my first AR-15. And you know, this big, we're going to ban assault weapons, which doesn't just cover the AR-15. It's all come down to interpretation of what they discovered, that what they decide an assault weapon is. You know, it's nonsense. This infringement of firearms is just nonsense. Talk about a buyback scheme where if you don't sell it back, they're going to arrest you and confiscate it. It's confiscation. It's not a gun buyback program. Listen, I'm as pro law enforcement as it comes. That's the bottom line. But taking people's guns is nonsense. Now, there was a ban before. It didn't work on AR-15s. Didn't stop any crime. Didn't do anything like that. But we want to keep talking rhetoric. Why is that? Because people want to get voted the same way as promising that they want to spend more money to do more things for people. Yet we're $20 trillion in debt. Politicians are, you know, we need to sweep all of them. If we could just throw a bunch of blue-collar people in there, I think we'd solve our problems. We have people in there that are very educated, a lot of them very wealthy. Interesting that they become very wealthy while they're in there. And I'm pro-government, but we have some serious problems. And how are we going to change that? Well, let's start putting people in there that really care more about the country than they do for themselves. Maybe let's put people in there, you know me, I'm a God guy, maybe people that are Christians because they recognize that there's something more important than themselves, so they believe in it. Maybe if people started following more about what the Holy Bible talks about how to treat people like you want to be treated, we'll stop getting people in there that'll make promises that they don't live up to and commit money that they don't have. I mean, it's nonsense, right? But let's get back to the whole AR-15 thing. Why would I give up my rifle? Why would I do that? Why would I, if we're talking about actually forcing me to sell something back that I've owned for 36 years and never done anything wrong with, right? Law enforcement, carried an M4 for 9 years in SWAT. Why would I think that it's okay to give back my rifle, to give up my rifle? I like it. I like shooting it. It defends my family. It defends innocent people. And you know what? My AR-15 has never killed anybody. But you've got politicians that say these guns were made for nothing but killing. Well, then my question is my gun defective, or are you mistaken in your misrepresentation of the facts? Guns are not made for killing. Guns can be used for many things. Guns are used for protection. As a matter of fact, I hate going to statistics because we all know statistics can very easily be manipulated. But for the killings that are done by firearms, which is in the thousands or tens of thousands, firearms are used without firing a shot to defend people in the millions every year. And this particular rifle, which is really enjoyable to shoot and makes me feel protected and my family as well. I mean, I've done videos with my 7-year-old shooting this gun. Doesn't hurt him, doesn't scare him. He's incredibly efficient with it. Why would I give that up? Why would people give that up? And yes, I'm prior law enforcement, but I don't fall for the whole trick of, well, we'll let, you know, retired law enforcement keep their guns. I'm not going to do that. Sure, I'll keep my gun, but I'm not going to do that because you know what? The vast majority of friends I have no law enforcement experience, no military experience. And they're great people and they like AR-15s and they own them. And I don't want them to lose them because I know they won't do anything wrong with them or commit any crimes with them. Guns don't commit crimes, people do. You know what our problem is? It is the pharmaceutical industry. It is. The vast majority of mass shooters were on pharmaceutical drugs. But politicians usually don't want to touch that. Why? Because that industry is worth billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars. And politicians love dollars because when they're out campaigning, it helps them put out their message. So wouldn't it be great to put people in office that just did it because they would give their commitment up? You know what I love? If you read stories about the presidents in the old days, I mean, going way back, presidents would serve and leave. They go back to being a farmer. Isn't that beautiful? Of the people, by the people, for the people. They were one of the people. And they liked being that. Now it's, you go in there and you serve for 2 terms as a president, or 10 years or 8 years as a senator or something, then you leave and you get Secret Service protection and you get millions of dollars in pay, and well, I think we're drawing people in there for the wrong reason, because it's not what it was founded to be, which is people who cared so much that they would serve their country by going there. They didn't go there to get rich. They didn't go there to get popular or powerful. They went there because, well, some of them really didn't even want to go. They just had friends that said, man, you need to be there. And those are the best kind of leaders. People that just really care and have great ideas and would go in there and give their input the best they could and walk out and leave. They don't have to insult people or tell people they're lying. They just share ideas and people go, doggone, that makes sense. And that's how governments are supposed to be when they're controlled by a people. That's what America's all about. America's about the freedom to own firearms and protect yourself and protect the country. Let's face it, firearms, no matter which ones they are, have done great things for this country. They put food on the table. They provide security for families. They provide security for the country from invasion. Look at World War II, where the Japanese thought of invading the country but recognized there were so many guns that the citizenry of the United States was the biggest standing army that they would never be able to get through. That's the truth. And now we have people that aren't paying attention to the facts. Do you know what's interesting about firearms? Anybody that follows our page recognizes that my son, we played with toys, with toy guns, and he became really remarkable. And that's because I'm a tactical guy, and as I played with him, I just did things that I knew, like taking cover and finger indexing and never covering him with the muzzle, and never thinking about it. Children love you so much, they emulate your behavior. And the next thing you know, my kid was a little gunfighter at about 4 years old. When he would play with other kids that were running around pointing the toy guns at their head and acting like an idiot, my kid's taking cover and completely disciplined and skilled with a firearm, even though he'd never touched a real one. But you know what else firearms do? Once you sit down and you shoot them, you learn how to safely handle them. They bring confidence. They teach children and even adults to be disciplined. It brings self-confidence and self-reliance to people to feel safe. People shouldn't be giving up guns. They shouldn't. Listen, I love the country. I'm not a radical. I support the government, but I'm not going to support anything that violates the Constitution or what this country's about, and people shouldn't. And I talk a lot about police officers. I was a police officer for 20 years. I was a cop and I'll always be one. I support law enforcement. I do. I support the military. Never been there, but I've been around a lot of them. A lot of them were cops with me. I support them. Their commitment to people, even if they don't go to war, the fact that they have to go away from their family for months at a time and travel around the country, be stationed. I mean, just their commitment and the sacrifice they make. I support those organizations, and I always will. And so should Americans. This is the greatest country in the world. It is. Someone asked me that. Why is America the greatest country in the world? Being sarcastic. I don't care if you think it is. I know it is. Why is it that America, who goes around the world saving everybody, gives more money to other nations, does more things to keep peace, and sometimes has to go to war when they weren't even involved initially, because we're a moral country, because we were founded on God, Christianity? Do we have to justify to other countries, especially those that we saved, that without us, they'd be speaking a different language? You know what, man? I love the country. I love guns. I love God. I love my family. Let's get realistic. Let's stop the politicians that are being ridiculous. If their only standing talking point is ridiculousness, then we just need to vote them out. And I know that makes it sound easier than it is, but you know what? There's a whole lot of conservatives that really just need to start getting involved. I keep talking about it. I have people saying, hey, what should I do? What should I do? Well, do something. You got to do something. Just like when people say, hey, you know what, why does God allow bad things to happen? Well, he created you, created 300 million Americans. Why don't we do something? Oh, I've got to do something. I got to get off the couch. I can't even press like on my phone. I can't even support people. No, God should do it. No, the government should do it. You know what? Accountability. Let's get realistic. You know what I love about living rurally? You learn how important you are. You learn the realities of life. Get out of the city for a while, and your perspective's going to change quickly. This is life. God loves you. Have a good morning. Keep safe.